Sustainability. I wanted to say a few words because I think it's also an important thing. It's important. It's important, for us, and it's important for many people around the world. So we use some of the word corporate social responsibility, sustainability. This has been changing over time. Huh? So in the 80s, this was all about philanthropy. Okay, we want the local community to like us. Hey, let's give them a bit of money, invest in this and that. That's good. That's already something. But that wasn't enough. Huh? In the 90s, as we've started to further globalize and source from many different places, then suddenly, there were reports that we could be doing bad things, harming the world or harming local societies or local groups, because of the activity we had using paint in some factories and releasing the stuff out. So at that point, we had very much a focus in terms of risk. Huh? So it was corporate social responsibility. Responsibility is about risk. And then we had to do a lot of things in terms of setting up the code of conduct, setting up audits, being able to regularly do some checks on the supplier and managing some improvement action on that. 2000, I think that we've been looking a bit more into, putting into our functional requirements some of the economic, environmental, and social performance in an integrated way, trying to look at the best trade-off between these dimensions. I think the CO2 emissions and some of the forestry aspects have been, important example about that. But I think now we've been moving into a different, direction. People are more concerned about the environment, and all over the world, people are more concerned about the social well-being of population. And therefore, there's more opportunities to create value for the business at the same time as you create value for the local communities and you help to, prevent harming the environment. So it is about, working with supplier. It is about collaborating with supplier to put up, some new solutions, innovating, and have this, broader positive effect. I've just published on LinkedIn a short article that connect to this slide and really giving a number of input in terms of what can we do in this area. We could spend a lot of time on this, but I'll try to give you a few hints. On minimizing risk, I've already mentioned code of conduct. I've already mentioned the audits and some improvement, some corrective action that you would be following up with suppliers. Another area, very much the case in some of the food industry, some of the cosmetic industry, for instance, where you need to work with local communities to have access to some product. This is collaboration with non-governmental organizations, some association that can help you to make your supply chain more socially and more environmentally friendly. Another trend is to look into not just your suppliers, but also the supplier of your supplier, and sometimes also the staff. Huh? That's an interesting one. Some companies have started to give to the staff of their supplier some SIM cards, and there is one number. And if there's a bad thing happening in the factory, then the people can have an immediate call and place an alert to the customer of their company. I also think that IoT is going to play a big role on that in terms of monitoring things. So today we do a lot of audits, but tomorrow we'll be able to to use telematics in case you've got some drivers who are behaving not so well in some places, and we'll be able to have some monitoring of factories in terms of their emission and things like this. So we'll have more risk management solution that will be IoT supported.